Okay, in this tutorial, I'm going to go over logical operators, right? Logical operators are what you use typically in conditional statements. So let me first just in a comment block here, right? And I'm using a shell here that I always have the ability to read from the console, right? I'm just using a shell because they're the typical things we need. So let's list the logical operators we are going to talk about today, right? I'm going to use the exclamation point, which is not. I'm going to use the ampersand and the double ampersand, which is and, right? And I'll use the bar, the pipe symbol, which is the key above the backslash above your enter key, right? And I'm going to use the double one, which is or, right? And I think for this tutorial that's enough. I'm not going to go into exclusive or. This is a good enough first pass at conditionals. So let's see how we use these, right? So let's assume I have a couple of integers, right? Int x equals 2, int y equals 3, int z equals 4, which we may use. I'm not sure. I'm kind of writing this on the fly. So first let's see how we use not, right? So we understand, oh, and I guess up here in my logical operators, right, I really should include equals, right? Double equals, which is equals, right? Okay, so let's say I wanted to test to see if, x was a certain value. I could say if x equals 2, then, yes, it is equal, right? Okay, and if I ran this code, clearly x is 2, it's going to print yes, it's equal. So let's run this code, right? Let's run this. And down here we say yes, it's equal. Now, let's say I wanted to see if x was not equal to 2. What I do here is instead of writing equals equals, I write exclamation point equals. And the way we read that is we say if x is not equal to 2, right? And if I run this, nothing happens, right? Because it didn't come in here, right? Because it's not. So if I said now y, I could say not equal, right? So now if y does not equal 2, it's going to come in here. And y clearly does not equal 2, so let's run this, and we will see that it is not equal. Okay, so equals and not equal, pretty straightforward. Now, the not symbol can be used in many other cases, but one that's confusing for many students is when we're dealing with strings. So let's define a string, s, and we'll give it a value, we'll give it a value hello, right? Okay, now we should remember that for string comparison, we cannot use equals equals. I can't say, if s equals hello. And there's a couple reasons you won't understand fully yet about addressing, but for now, let's just say it's because string is not a native Java type. And for all you Java experts that are going to review this video, I understand that it has to do with pointers and the way it's handled, but let's just say for now, strings aren't native Java types, so you can't use the equals equals. So how do you do it? So you should remember that the way we compare strings is we say if s dot equals, and then in here we write hello or whatever we want to compare it to. And right, so now if I run this, s is hello, so s equals hello will be true, so it'll print equal, right? And I got equal. Okay, now, and there were also other things you could do. You could do, if this was lowercase, for instance, it would not work, right? Because capital hello and lowercase hello are not the same, so it's not going to say equal, right? It doesn't say equal, right? But I could get around that by saying equals ignore case, equals ignore case, and now it would compare the string hello disregarding the case of all the letters in there, right? So it would say it's equal, right? Okay, so now how do I see if if the string does not equal hello, right? Because there's not a not equals ignore case or a not equals, right? So how do I see if it's not equal to hello? So in this case, s does equal hello. How do I see if it's not equal to hello? Well, what you do is you put the not, the exclamation point, in front of this. You say, if not s equals hello, which means if s does not equal hello, right? So now let's run it. And if I run this, nothing happens because s does equal hello. Now let's say the string was not hello, it was hello there. Now string does not equal hello, so it will come in here, right? And I run this and it says equal, right? I should have changed this to not equal, right? Because I'm checking if it's not equal, right? Okay. So the way you use the not symbol or the not operator with strings is you put it before the string. If I'm not doing strings, right, and I'm just using any other variable type like x, I just do not equal to 3, right? And it is not equal, right? X is 2, it is not equal to 3, and it runs, right? And it's not equal. You could put the not in front and put equals equals, but you're never going to see that. You're going to see people, right? Not equal 3. Okay, so we've done equals, we've done not equals. Now let's talk about ands and ors. Now there's two types of ands. There's the single ampersand and the double ampersand. There's the single or and there's the double or. For the majority of your coding in early on coding, you're only going to use the doubles, the double ands, ampersand, and the double pipe for ors, right? The primary difference is that when you use the double, let's do something here. Let's say if x equals 2, right, which it does, and y equals 3, right, and z equals 4, which they all are true, right? So x does equal 2, and y does equal 3, and z does equal 4. So it should print out equal here, right? And I could say else not equal, right? Okay, so if I run this, it should be equal, right? Because all of those are true. That's an and, right? It's equal, right? Okay. Now, if I use single ampersands versus double ampersand, with double ampersand, let's say I said if x equals 5 at the beginning, right? Which it does not. With a double ampersand, once one of these fails, once this first one fails, it's not going to go any further and test any of the others. So, which is almost always what you want to happen. So if I use single ampersands, it's still going to run all those other conditionals, which isn't typically what I want to happen. So for you, use double ampersand, double pipe for ands and ors, and you'll get what you logically expect to happen. So in this case, x does not equal 5. So for an and, all three of these have to be true for it to print equal. So in this case, it's not going to print equal, right? So it's going to print not equal, right? Okay, so that's the way ands work. Now, here's the way ors work. If I change these to ors, right, only one of these conditions has to be true. So once it finds a condition that's true, it's not even going to test the rest, because an or says, if this is true, or this is true, or this is true, then I'm going to do whatever's on the next line. So in this case, even if I put, 55 here and 44 here, the two x does equal 2, so as long as one of them's equal, it's going to print equal, right? The only way it's going to fail is if none of them are equal, right? None of these are now equal. So if I run this code, right, not equal, right? Okay, so for an or, only one of them has to be true. And it could be anyone. It could be the last one, right? Z equals 4, right? Okay, and now the or will be true. Okay, so it'll go into there. So that's a general use of these. You can make very complicated conditional statements with parentheses, right? I could say, you know, if x equals 2, you know, and then here I can put parentheses, y equals 55 or z equals 4, right? So now x has to be has to be 2, and either y is equal to 55 or z equals 4. So in this case, this would be true because x does equal 2, so I satisfied the condition, half the condition of the end. And then for this one, z equals 4, so that satisfies the or condition, so it should print out equals here, right? So if I run this, it's equal. Okay, so you can get really complex situations here, right? And then I could even concatenate, right? And s dot equals hello there, right? And it'll be true. So you can mix the equals equals with the s dot equals. Any conditionals apply, right? So if I run this, right, it's not equal. And the reason it's not equal, did you notice this t is lowercase, right? So I would have to do equals ignore case, right? And then if I run this, it's equal, right? So you have to be careful with strings. It has to be a complete match if you use equals ignore case. Probably usually better when we're typing in stuff from the user because then we don't require them to type it in exactly the way we're expecting.